A dream you dream alone is only a dream. A dream you dream together is reality. A dream doesn't become reality through magic. It takes sweat, determination, and hard work.
So I'm back in the kitchen. I need to get the last couple of bits in here sorted, obviously because I made a couple of changes with the kitchen layout. They're only obviously small tweaks. The overall sort of style and layout is exactly the same. It's just one or two of the units have just slightly changed. And because we're going to be putting the fridge freezer on this side now, that wasn't originally planned, so we haven't got electrics over there for it. So I'm going to have to run some new wires over to there so we can plug the fridge freezer in, and I need to slightly move the one for the dishwasher over because we weren't planning on having a dishwasher either, but luckily we did have a plug there for what we're going to use the fridge freezer for on this side. So, and then I need to move the one for the microwave, so the one that's just about here, that one we need to move further down for the extractor fan. Because for some strange reason we didn't plan on having one of those either. But thanks for all your comments. Obviously it's something that we've planned in now and something that we're going to get sorted. So the plan is to pull some of the floorboards up so I can run the cable underneath there over to where the beam is to get the electrics for the fridge freezer. To plug that over there, because we weren't planning on having a breakfast bar, I need to lower it or move it to the left or right. And then once they're done, I need to move the dishwasher one along. I need to move the extractor fan along. And then after that, the beam that's in the middle of the floor, because it's raised a couple of centimetres, we need to cut that down so it's going to be level with the rest of the floor. So when we sand the floor, it's all just one continuous piece rather than having a little lip on it. So not too much to do, as always. But I'm going to crack on with these now. Ash has just nipped out to go and get some plug sockets so we know where we're going to mount those and we can get those sorted. So I think the first job that I'm going to do, I might look at see if I can cut the beam down with a circular saw. We're just going to set that to the depth that we need. We can run along that a couple of times and then we can chisel it off, and then once all that's off we can go along with the belt sander and sand it all down. So I've got my batteries on charge. Once they're charged we can crack on and get sorted. So I'm about halfway there with it, and to be honest, it's not too bad. The hardest part is obviously cutting through the top part of the beam. So once you've got through that, obviously we're just chipping it off, and it's just coming out in little chunks, which is good. So once all this is off, I've took the floorboard up so we can run the conduit, which is good. And then we'll be able to get the floorboard back on, give it all a sand, and hopefully level it off. So yeah, it's good. Like I said, I've just got that other half to do now. But see, the way I'm doing it, I'm just cutting slots in, diagonally and vertically, and then just chipping underneath it with the chisel, and they're just popping off. So I'll crack on with this bit now, and then we can crack on with the conduit. And that's the last one done. So that's all of these off now, and I've got it all pretty much down to the level that I need it. So the next stage will be, I'll run the conduit down, I'll drill some holes through the beams so I can get the conduit to this level, and then once that's done, we'll be able to put the floorboard back on. I'll be able to sand this down so it'll be the same level, and then you'd never know. So I've got all the wiring through, which is good. All sorted now. All of the plugs are attached, which obviously it's brilliant. It's worked out a lot better than what I expected, to be honest. The only difficult part was drilling through the beams. So, oh, Pandora. Getting them sorted. So I'll get this floorboard back on now, get it all attached so Pandora doesn't go through all the floors. And then I can look at the other ones that we need to get sorted. But I'll show you obviously how I've got it all through now and got it sorted. And then I'll have a little tidy up for now and then get the rest sorted later. Come on, Pandy. So this is the route that I've got. So the guy from the kitchen place said that he wanted the sockets here, and obviously gone through the beam there, straight along, so you can see it right the way along here, and then along here, and I had to bring it straight along here and along there, and this is all going to be under the kitchen units anyway. The reason I couldn't put it right the way through is because we have a steel beam here which runs along there, and we have a big steel girder that runs along this way that had been put in, and obviously there was no way that I was going to get through them. So at least that's sorted. We'll be able to put zinc over that, so obviously it's not going to get knocked or anything. But once the kitchen units are in, obviously they have the feet on them, so it'll be over it anyway, so it should be good. But yeah, I think it's a good job done. So I can get this floorboard back on temporarily at the minute, because I think we are going to look at trying to get some insulation down, which will be a good job at the minute. But I noticed as well when I took them off, you can see down here that there's some new trunking for the light that's in the bedroom below. So when they've done the electrics, they've obviously put new trunking in there. So yeah, it's good to find obviously other things there. Like I said, the trunking there. At least we can follow the same route that they have when we need to get the electric sorted for the bedroom below. But yeah, I'll get tidied up and then crack on with the rest. So now I've got the floor sanded, which wasn't an enjoyable job. It was a bit of a nightmare. There's a couple of bits where we've had woodworm and the floor's obviously rotted away a bit, or where there's been knots in the floor and like it's come out, so we've got a bit of a hole in the wood there. So the next stage before we get it varnished and sorted is to fill in those gaps. So all I'm going to do is the sawdust that I've got from the floor, I'm going to mix that in a little tub with some PVA glue, and I'll put that in the hole, let it dry for a few hours, and then I can go back over it with the belt sander to get it to the same level. And then once that's done, we can get the varnish on to protect it all, which will be good, and then start looking at what paint colour we're wanting to get and stuff like that. So I'll mix this up now, get in the few holes, there's only a handful of them, so it won't be too bad, and then I'll leave this to dry and crack on with something else. And that's it sorted in here in the kitchen for now. Obviously I've got all my little jobs that I needed doing. Getting the beam cut down was a massive job to get sorted. Obviously we've been putting it off and putting it off. It was one of those jobs that you know is going to take a while to do, and you just keep on putting it off because you don't want to do it. But glad that's done now, so it's blended in perfectly with the rest of the floorboards, and getting all the holes filled in as well with the mix of the sawdust and the PVA glue has worked fantastic. So I'll better go over that with a final sand to blend it all in, and then the next stage for the floor will be to get it all varnished, and then we'll be able to get paint colours sorted and get the beams varnished as well. And that's when the room will start completely transforming which will look brilliant because we'll be able to get some warmth into it and get it ready for the kitchen unit. So it's good. So we're looking forward to this, because I remember when we walked in here, when we first seen it, and it was just an empty shell and it was just tiles that we could see, and now it's almost complete. I'll see lick of paint on the wall, kitchen in, job done. So yeah, it's come a long way in the last 2 years. Obviously it's the last room that we've got to get sorted up here on the 3rd floor, and then we can put all our attention into the garden and into the guest rooms. Hopefully we'll be able to get those sorted for the end of this year. So yeah, so I'm going to go and grab a cup of tea now, and I'll be able to crack on with the rest later on, because we'll be able to pick out a paint colour, get the floor done, and then hopefully that should be just in time for the kitchen getting fitted in the next 2 weeks. So thank you for watching. Hope you've enjoyed today's episode, and if you have, please like and subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to press the bell to get all the notifications for when we're posting videos. And for now, I will say au revoir, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye. If you'd like to be part of our journey and help restore the chateau, then please join us on Patreon, where you'll be part of our journey, receive a piece of the history, and get exclusive videos.